Assalamu alaikum students, Juma Mubarak, and welcome to this second lecture on entrepreneurship. And as you know that we have all already discussing the feasibility analysis. So this is going to be my second lecture on feasibility analysis. Just to recap some of the important concepts that we have discussed in previous class. The feasibility analysis is done at the very start when you conceive an idea and you want to pursue it in future. And feasibility analysis have four basic components. uh, in order to check whether the idea is completely feasible or not, you should be checking the product and service feasibility, industry target market feasibility, organizational feasibility, and at the end, the financial feasibility. As I have already explained, there is no order in which you can conduct these feasibility analysis. You can do product service feasibility and financial feasibility simultaneously, or you can do it one by one. It all depends on the entrepreneur and the resources that he has. So today we are going to discuss the second important part of feasibility analysis, that is organizational feasibility. And this is going to be, please note that this is going to be a short lecture today because today is Friday. But I am uploading a quiz along with my lecture, and you have to attempt that quiz. This is going to be an MCQ type of quiz. And to attempt this quiz, please revise the feasibility analysis part and the opportunity analysis part that we have discussed in the previous classes. So as you can see, the slides in front of you, organizational feasibility is conducted to determine whether a proposed business has the sufficient managerial expertise and organizational competences and resources to successfully launch the business or not. It focuses on the entrepreneur's managerial skills and the non-financial resources that he requires. There are also financial resources that a manager require, but the financial resources and the financial part will be discussed in detail in the financial feasibility. In this particular part, we are just going to discuss the non-financial resources required for running the businesses. So what are the managerial skills required? How to assess whether an entrepreneur has the managerial skills or not, and what are some of the important non-financial resources would be the main focus of this particular lecture. So I hope you got the basic understanding of what organizational feasibility is and what is it is going to test. Let me revise. Organizational feasibility is conducted to determine whether the entrepreneur or the team has the requisite managerial skills and non-financial resources for successfully launching and running the organization or not. As you all know, there is a universality of management. Management is required in every sort of business that an entrepreneur wants to start, whether whether it was an idea of Uber or it was an idea of Kareem, whether you want to open up a university, you want to start a retail chain. Everywhere there is a managerial side of a business. So there is a technical side of a business and then there's a managerial side of a business. So technical side was covered in the product service feasibility, whether you have the ability to develop that product or not. On the other hand, the managerial side should also be assessed. So when we are going to conduct organizational feasibility, there are two basic components that we need to cover in organizational feasibility. We need to check whether the team has the management prowess, and then we need to check that whether we have the resource sufficiency or not. So what is meant by management prowess? Management prowess is the firm should candidly evaluate the prowess or the ability. So prowess means ability, capacity of its management team to satisfy its management has the requisite passion and expertise to launch the venture. It doesn't matter आप कौन सा business कर रहे हैं, you need some basic managerial skills. You need to know how to plan, organize, lead, and control, which are the basic managerial functions. You should know the basics of accounting, human resource management, marketing, आपका auditing, and all of these elements are very very important when we are going to launch a business. There is no business in the world that is running without accountancy, without a finance department, without a human resource department, whether it is and it is across industries. It doesn't matter you are running a cinema, you are running a university, you are running a school, you are running a retail chain, a restaurant, or a hotel. You need all of these departments and you need to have basic understanding of these departments. and it is also very possible that an entrepreneur doesn't has all of these skill sets that are required to run a business, but the venture capitalists and the people who would be evaluating your business idea or business plans would be checking that whether the complete team has has these skill set or not. So if a person as an entrepreneur, he is very strong on the technical side, he should have someone who is very strong on the managerial side. So always all the business ventures, they are run in a team. So your complete team should have some sort of managerial skill sets as well. So two of the most important factors in this area are: number one, does the entrepreneur has the requisite passion or not? As we have discussed in the previous slides as well, that passion is one of the very, very important characteristics of an entrepreneur. Passion gives you that tenacity to continue even when you are facing some failures and when you are facing some downfalls in your business idea. तो पैशन तो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। पैशन के अलावा, पैशन के बगैर कोई बिजनेस एंटरप्रेन्योरियल वेंचर आगे नहीं चल सकता। ये हम बार बार डिस्कस कर चुके हैं अपनी क्लास में, बिकॉज एंटरप्रेन्योर की जर्नी इज़ वेरी टफ। और when an entrepreneurial journey starts, you have to have the passion, you have to have the belief in yourself that someday this particular business idea or this particular venture would take off and you would reap the benefits of the takeoff. Lekin in the very start, it seems to be falling at every steps. It seems to be very. It seems like everything is failing, and it seems like this business idea is not going to take off. At this moment, अगर आप पैशनेट नहीं हो, अगर आप खुद बिलीव नहीं करते अपने बिजनेस आइडिया पे, तो दिस मीन्स दैट बिजनेस आइडिया वुड नेवर एवर टेक ऑफ. The very first thing that whenever you apply for loans, whenever you apply for some financial aid, so the venture capitalists, these bank managers, or even अगर आप अपने relatives के पास जाते हो for getting the loan, the very first thing that they look for is that is the person passionate about their business idea, his own business idea or not. अगर आपको खुद बिलीव नहीं है अपने बिजनेस आइडिया पे, तो फिर कभी भी वो भी बिलीव नहीं करते. लेकिन the second most important thing is that कि passion alone would not take you anywhere. Passion is good, and passion can actually help you get out of that very first difficult stage of entrepreneurship. लेकिन उसके साथ you need to have the skill set that can steer the team out of the difficult situation. और वो जो skill set है, that is some of the managerial skill sets जो कि मैंने अभी बताया. You should have basic understandings of accounting. आपको break evens का पता होना चाहिए, what is meant by break even. आपको ये आइडिया होना चाहिए कि marketing क्या होती है, human resource management क्या होती है. And if you do not have these ideas, so you have two options. Either you need to learn all of those skill sets, or you can hire someone, or you can team up with someone who is better in these kinds of skill sets. So one thing that every manager should do in order to calculate, every entrepreneur in order to calculate that whether he has the management prowess or not, is to write down or develop a list of all the managerial and all the management skills and functions that he has to perform. और फिर उसे ये देखना है कि क्या उसके इन फंक्शंस में एक्सपर्टीज हैं कि नहीं. क्या उसने कभी किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में मार्केटिंग की है, क्या कभी उसने किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर अकाउंटेंसी को अंडरस्टैंड करने की कोशिश की है, क्या उसने अपने एजुकेशन लेवल पे कभी ये सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़े हैं. अगर ये नहीं पढ़े, तो ही नीड्स टू लर्न ऑल ऑफ those skill set, or he can hire someone, or he can team up with someone who is passionate, who have the basic understanding of all of these skill sets. The second thing that we calculate in organizational feasibility is resource sufficiency. And as I have already explained, there are two basic resources that are required to run a business. We have financial resources and we have non-financial resources. So financial resources तो हम discuss करेंगे in financial feasibility. So that is why financial resources are very important. लेकिन वो अभी मैं आपसे discuss नहीं कर रहा. That we would discuss in detail in the financial feasibility part. यहाँ पर हम सिर्फ डिस्कस करेंगे नॉन फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज. तो सबसे पहले ये समझ लेते हैं कि व्हाट इज मेंट बाय नॉन फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज. नॉन फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज means all of those resources that cannot be quantified. For example, loyalty of your employees. For example, availability of the office space. For example, some governmental approval that you have. Now, all of these resources do need some financial resources to be developed, but they cannot be quantified in some sort of a some sort of a financial term. For example, this university has a very important financial resource, that is the charter of HEC that we have. Now, इस charter की कोई fees होगी जो कि हमने pay की at the time when we got this charter, but the value of that this charter for us is not equivalent to that fee that we have paid. The value is much more. So that is why this is what is meant by non-financial resources. So what we need to do, we need to calculate the list, or we need to develop the list of all the non-financial resources that we need. For example, these are some of the non-financial resources: availability of the affordable office space, likelihood of local and local and state government to support these businesses, quality of the labor pool that we have, then proximity of the key suppliers, willingness of high quality employees to join you as an organization, likelihood of establishing favorable strategic relationship with the partners, then proximity of similar firms for the purpose of sharing knowledge, the possible of obtaining intellectual property protection in the key areas. Now, all of these elements that I have just mentioned, ये सब के सब elements non-financial resources हैं, because yes, we do need financial resources to manage all of them, but once we have these financial resources, इनकी value क्वांटिफाई नहीं की जा सकती. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज सिचुएटिंग, जिस तरह मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन किया कि इफ योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैज सम गवर्नमेंटल अप्रूवल, आपके पास कोई लाइसेंस आ गया, उस लाइसेंस की ऑब्वियसली एक फी है, बट दैट लाइसेंस that fee doesn't justify the complete value of that particular license. That license is, आप कह सकते हो, उस लाइसेंस की कोई कीमत नहीं है, वो लाइसेंस बहुत ज्यादा वैल्यू का है आपके लिए. इसीलिए इसी तरह, अगर if you have a loyal employee, if you have a good skill set of a pool of employees available in your vicinity or in your country who are also willing to join you as a team member, तो इसको भी आप पैसे में कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते. The financial value of this particular resource is beyond the financial value that you are actually spending to get these financial resources, get these non-financial resources. So non-financial resources, many a times organizations value their non-financial resources much higher than even financial resources. So how to calculate? Again, you have to develop a list of all the non-financial resources required. आपको एक लिस्ट बनानी है कि आपको किस तरह के स्किल सेट चाहिए, क्या वो स्किल सेट अवेलेबल इजीली हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, यू आर गोइंग टू हायर ड्राइवर्स, तो क्या ड्राइवर्स पाकिस्तान में अवेलेबल हैं? अगर मैं थोड़ा सा हायर लेवल पे जाऊं, एंड यू वांट टू स्टार्ट अप एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर रहते हुए सोलर पैनल्स जो हैं वो मैन्युफैक्चर करेगा, तो क्या द वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग दैट यू नीड टू कैलकुलेट कि डू वी हैव पीपल हु हैव एक्सपर्टीज इन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सोलर पैनल्स एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि किस तरह की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज आती हैं व्हेन वी स्टार्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सोलर पैनल्स. You must have seen that many a times पाकिस्तान के अंदर कोई हाई एंड टेक्नोलॉजी मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं होती, अनफॉर्चुनेटली, बिकॉज वी डू नॉट हैव एनी एजुकेशन सिस्टम दैट इज डेवलपिंग सच स्किल सेट्स जो कि एक लेबर पूल डेवलप कर सके, एक एम्प्लॉय पूल डेवलप कर सके जो कि इस तरह के बिजनेस वेंचर्स को सपोर्ट कर सके. तो दैट इज़ वाई इस तरह के बिजनेस वेंचर्स पाकिस्तान के अंदर ना इंट्रोड्यूस होते हैं, और अगर इंट्रोड्यूस भी होते हैं तो इतने सक्सेसफुल नहीं आते. वी हैव द एग्जांपल ऑफ मैनी ऑटोमोबाइल कंपनीज, जिस तरह क्राउन पाकिस्तान की एक कंपनी है, यूनाइटेड मोटर्स ने भी अब एक गाड़ी निकाली है, और साथ उन्होंने एक मोटर बाइक अपनी मार्केट में इंट्रोड्यूस करवाई है. द क्वालिटी ऑफ दोज मोटर बाइक्स and the quality of those cars are not as much as the quality of motorbikes coming from Japan, because the employees and the people that are working on these do not have those skill sets that are present in Japanese or in American markets. सो ये नॉन फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज को कभी भी आप इन टर्म ऑफ मनी कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते, इनकी वैल्यू बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. So that is it. These are two important elements that we need to calculate and measure, and we need to see that whether we have the managerial prowess and the resource efficiency or not. If we lack in some of those areas in management or in the non-financial resources, we should be striving and we should be working hard to get all of those resources and these managerial skills before we are going to launch the businesses. Okay, that is it. Today it was a very short lecture. It was a short lecture because today is Friday. Another thing that I want to be very clear with you guys is that because of the coronavirus, we are delivering lectures online. Please, please do not get out of your homes. It is becoming very dangerous outside. And while we are at the comfort of our home, we are safe there. Please do not miss the lectures. Excuse me. Excuse me. Please do not miss the lectures. We are making an extra effort. We are uploading all these lectures online just for you. And at the end of the lecture, there is a multiple choice quiz attached with this lecture that you can access through the Google Classroom portal that every one of you is now a part of. Please attempt that quiz. You have till tomorrow to attempt that quiz. I would be putting in the deadline as well. And please stay at home, stay safe, and keep yourself updated and keep the learning process through the online sources. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.